Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another episode of what is the Arsenal News Show. Joining you every morning at 8 a.m. UK time. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing well. Thank you as always for tuning in, joining me and being, of course, I hope, safe and well in life. Let's crack on with today's hellos to the chat box. Hope you're doing good. Paul, Black Shine, Barry, good morning to you, to Darren, to Nyamdi, to Amira, Matt G, Gavin, Answer, Carl, AJ, Red Star, Stevie, Trevor, Clock Orange, Granddaddy Gooner, Paul, Justin, Matt, Runs with Cows, Marcus, Johnny, Richard, and plenty more of you guys joining us in the chat as well. Always so good to see plenty of you. Let's crack on with today's stories, shall we? Let's jump in to Arsenal's Premier League squad, which has been officially revealed and includes some interesting talking points, actually. I know we thought it would all be fairly obvious, but let's run through this. Mohamed Elneny, of course, is returning very soon. In fact, we'll talk about him in a little bit. Kai Havertz, James Hilson, the 22-year-old goalkeeper, part of that under-21 side. Carl Hein counts on the under-21 list, so doesn't need to be named. So James Hilson is there. Gabriel Jesus, Jorginho, Jakub Kivior, Gabriel Magalhaes, Gabriel Martinelli, Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, Martin Odegaard, Thomas Partey, Aaron Ramsdale, David Raya, Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, William Saliba, Emil Smith-Rowe, Cedric, Jurrien Timber also there. Interesting that Jurrien Timber has been included on this list. Arsenal can change this list in January. So I guess make of it what you will. I think he's there because there isn't anyone else to go there, and then by some miracle he returns. They want him, but I don't think that's a hint that he might return before January, to be honest. So sorry to burst anybody's bubbles, but yes, it's not likely that we see Jurrien Timber back before at least March time, as we talked about. But he is included on the list. So there you go. Takahiro Tomiyasu, Leandro Trossard, Fabio Vieira, Ben White, and Alexander Zinchenko. So amongst those, what we've got is as homegrown options on this list. We've got James Hilson, Reece Nelson, and Nketiah, Aaron Ramsdale, Raya, Rice, Saka, Saliba, Emil Smith-Rowe, and Ben White, all considered homegrown. Martinelli, you'll notice, not got that asterisk next to his name. As far as I'm aware, he does count, but he doesn't need to count in this list because we have enough. Homegrown players on hand. So yeah, certainly good news. And as I mentioned, Mohamed Elneny is involved in training. This might be one of my favourite pictures. If you're listening on audio, I'll hop over to the YouTube side of things to see it, or you can look on the Arsenal website for the pictures from training yesterday. But this might be one of my favourite pictures. It's like he's walking back into the real world in a glory of rain shower there with the sprinklers in the background. But Mohamed Elneny is now and is fully involved in training and will be part of the squad. You can imagine for that Carabao Cup game against Brentford. Will he be part of the team for the PSV game on Wednesday? We'll have to wait and see. I don't expect him to be in the squad for the game against Everton on Sunday, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Matt Turner's position at Nottingham Forest could already be in trouble. Reports are suggesting that new signing Odysseas Vlachodimos, the Greek goalkeeper they signed from Benfica, is set to be considered as a number one goalkeeper. So despite Matt Turner actually leaving Arsenal to move to Forest to get more game time, and he started their Premier League game so far, because Forest signed a brand new goalkeeper, it looks as though that Turner could again be the number two, even though he has moved significantly further down the Premier League, which is a shame. You know, I was really enjoying Turner's performances for Nottingham Forest. I thought he was doing well. He kept a clean sheet at Chelsea, if you remember, as well, and did well against us, pulled off some good saves. So I think this would be harsh to drop him immediately. So yeah, let's wait and see. Saka and I don't know why I've said that. Saka and Tinia faced off. That was yesterday, but Jorginho, his future is basically sorted. I can't even talk this morning. Jorginho is to stay at Arsenal this season. Suggestions have come out from Fabrizio Romano yesterday, suggesting that despite offers and potential interest and talk of Turkish teams in the nation looking at the player, there is an expectation that Jorginho will indeed stay at Arsenal. There isn't an expectation that he's going to move to Turkey. So that's good news. I think we can all agree that Jorginho staying with the club is a positive. We need that depth in the midfield, but there had been suggestions coming out from Turkey that he would and could be open to a move there. But no, as far as we're aware, he will be staying at Arsenal until the end of the season. And Arsenal's links to Diomande, Ousmane Diomande, the Sporting Lisbon defender, have indeed been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, who has suggested that Arsenal have tracked the player for some time. There wasn't suggestions of a bid or negotiations. However, he said that the negotiations, as far as we're aware, did not happen. There was that report from the Record in Portugal that suggests that Arsenal had made a 35 million euro bid for Diomande in the summer, but nothing came of it. But Fab has said that Arsenal are genuinely interested. I was certainly aware of the interest when he was at Midtjylland in Denmark. That's persisted, it seems, through to his time in Portugal. He was not for sale last summer. Sporting Lisbon had no interest in allowing him to leave unless it was for that 70 million euro buyout clause that he has in his deal, which I assume would probably be the price for any club if they want to try and sign him in January or the summer. So Diomande, it doesn't look like will be joining Arsenal anytime soon, but there is an interest from the club. Right, that brings us to an end to part one, a short one, but that's fine. So it means we get to answer plenty of questions in part two right after this. Right then, let's jump into the chat box and tackle some of the questions that we've got to try and answer. Okay, Trevor says, joke. I don't know what's a joke. You have to let me know, Trevor, what the joke is. Matt says, does Fabrizio Romano ever sleep, do you think? I'm assuming he's getting some more sleep now the transfer window is closed, but there are still other transfer windows open, so I suppose not. He works very hard. Does a lot of work. You got to say that about the man. Let's go to Mark says, there is no way Timber was in training 2 days ago, but it would be nice if it were true. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't. He wasn't in training 2 days ago. So, yeah, there's no chance of Timber being back this year, as far as I'm aware. It will be 2024 the next time we see Timber. So, yeah, don't expect that squad list to be a hint that Timber will be involved. It would be like a lottery win if he comes back, for goodness sake. The stuff should be back. Yeah, it'd be very, very surprising if indeed Arsenal do end up, seeing Timber play this season. But yeah, we don't expect him to be back this time at all. Let's jump into some more questions. I'm hoping that it's sorted out now. Sorted. There we go. Lovely stuff. Let's go to Penny Ween. Says, if the club announced that Gunnosaurus was to be replaced by Matt G, a rapping Arsenal fan with a big gold cannon around his neck, would he sell more merch? I don't know. I don't know if Matt G would be the type to do that. You have to ask him. Matt, you'll have to let us know in the chat box if that indeed is something that you are interested in. So yeah, let's wait and see. Chosen One says, Tom, have you heard about a report suggesting that Saka has got a nagging Achilles problem? No, I haven't heard anything to that effect. Let me just have a quick check. Mail Sport understands that Saka continues to be nagged by an Achilles problem that dogged him last season. I have no suggestions that Sammy's information, which is usually around the player, very good, to be untrue. I've not heard it myself, but yeah, let's see if that turns out to be the case for the long term, and if we see him get rested. Hopefully, he does get rest this season. We've got players like Reece Nelson that can come in. Trossard has played on the right. Smith Rowe was even used there in pre-season. There are options to play at right wing over Saka. So let's wait and see if there turns out to be any truth in that one. Alex says, long-time listener, first time catching a live show. Any news on signings in January? Alex, nothing yet, mate. It's a long way till January, but it's the way of the world, isn't it? You finish the summer transfer window. The first questions before or just after the window closes is, are we going to sign anybody in January? And the answer to that, as far as I'm aware, is no. Wesbird says, I never assumed that we would be the only or nearest rival to Man City as long as we are competitive to see progression. But what, in your opinion, is progression, and do we need to win a trophy? It's difficult, as I've talked about before. I'd love to win a trophy. The aim should be to win a trophy. But if Arsenal don't win a trophy and it's because Man City have won them all, I can't really have too many complaints. If Arsenal are knocked out of any of the competitions by a side that they should be beating, I'm going to be disappointed, because Arsenal really should only be losing to Man City, or maybe at Anfield you can justify that potentially. But if we get knocked out by somebody else, that's going to be very, very sad indeed. So hopefully we can win a trophy. What is progress? It's being more competitive compared to Man City than we was last season. It's hoping that we can get closer to that side compared to what we did last season. So yeah, let's keep those fingers crossed that things do indeed improve. Let's go to Holdini. Says, is Crystal Palace the biggest rival that Arsenal have now that Rob Holding has gone there? No, they're not, Yomi. I'm sorry to disappoint you, my friend. I'm sorry that we can't. Clock Orange says, is Diomande the missing piece in defence, as I see no backup for him currently at Arsenal? I'm assuming that's probably Saliba or Gabriel. I think that adding Diomande to the side would be great depth for the team. It's no guarantee of success, of course, but I think it would add great depth to the side. So, yeah, maybe that's something that we need to look into. Quataka says, do you think Arteta would rest Saka against Everton in preparation for Wednesday? Do you think he'll make any other changes in the game? No, I think the Everton game is more important than the PSV game. We're at home against PSV. The Everton away game, I think, is a harder fixture. You've also got to remember that we've got the North London derby after the Champions League game. So we might rest some players for PSV. We might make some changes for that game because we've got the North London derby the following weekend. So if we're likely to rest and rotate, I think it's much more likely that we see that happen during the game against PSV. Bakary says, what is progress? Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is progress? I can see where you were going with that, Bakary Lasagna, yes. What is progress? I honestly don't know. It's difficult to see when you're this close to a team like Manchester City what is going to be, the next step. Obviously, we want to see Arsenal reach that next level and win a trophy. This team is good enough. This manager is good enough to win a trophy. And hopefully we do that this season. But, it's Man City being the juggernaut they are makes things so difficult. And I just hope we continue to progress in terms of the way in which we play, how competitive we are, how good we are, where we dominate teams. And we evolve under Arteta this season. And we take things to another level and we improve and we get Havertz firing and we get Odegaard getting to the numbers that he got last season, that Saka can get 20 goals this season, that Gabriel Jesus can get more than 15, close to 20, if not more than 20 this season, that Eddie Nketiah hits 10 goals this season. I want to hit these little targets that we kind of continue to try and aim for if players are getting more goals and assists than they had. I'd like to see Odegaard get more assists than he got last season. He got 15 goals from open play. I think he's got something like 4 or 5 assists. We need to see him get more. We want Odegaard to get up to 10 plus assists and 15 plus goals. That's what we want to see from Odegaard. So why not set these little targets and start seeing these teams improve, get more clean sheets at home? That's a big target for us this season. We need to make sure that we're keeping clean sheets at home because we have not been able to do that so far. And it's a frustration, without a doubt. Umar Raif says, how excited are you for the Arsenal in the Champions League again? Oh, mate, I can't wait to be at the Emirates on Wednesday and hear that anthem blaring out of the speakers ahead of the game. It's great. I can't wait. I am so excited for it. I was at the PSV game last season. I tried to grab a couple of questions with Cody Gakpo. I managed it, to be fair. And I like the European mix zones. They're a lot more kind of free-for-all-ish, and you can kind of go up and speak to people a lot easier. But yeah, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what indeed does happen. Marcus says, do we have a set piece coach? Previous one, I think, left in the summer of 22, and since then, set piece to finish. No, I think Nicholas Jova. I think he's still here, Marcus. I'm pretty sure I've still seen him. Let me just check that. I don't want to be wrong about that. Nicholas Jova. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, he's the set piece coach for Arsenal. He's not left, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, he's still there, mate. So I don't know where that I don't know where that came from, but yeah, he's certainly still at the club at the moment. Chosen One says, "Wow, that's a surprise. But if it means that Saka could get a rest, that's great. I'm sure he'll be fine. He's very good about recoveries and looking after himself. I would love some rest for him." What I would say about that, we talk about the fact that there's been a nagging Achilles issue with Saka. That might have come from that tackle that he received against Nottingham Forest. But players often carry these small niggling injuries a lot of the time. It's part and parcel of football, and they play through it. And, we heard about Rob Holding talking about Ben White and what he's played through. It is a part of the game that the players do have these persisting problems. So, yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it, but certainly it's something that should be monitored, and I'm sure that it is being monitored. So that's something that we need to consider. Jibbo says, "I've still got the Champions League theme as my ringtone." Fair play. I think, doesn't Erling Haaland wake up to the Champions League theme tune every single morning or something like that? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that is the case. Esmond says, "Tom, what's your analysis on why we tied with Fulham and City won 5-1? Do they play a weaker Fulham team or what?" I think the difference is quite simple, actually. I think that Fulham played a really good game. If you have a look at the statistics between Fulham and City in that game, they were really level. Fulham's heads dropped after that horrific refereeing decision, and things can swing on a dime. Like, in that moment, you're in a position where Fulham are drawing, and out of an area of the game in which they are wrongly given a goal against them, that really does affect mentality. And then you're like, well, what's the point? We did our absolute hardest to get back to 1-1, and now we're in a position where we've conceded again to this Man City side after what is a refereeing howler. So yeah, I suppose that played a part of it. And teams play differently. Every game is different. That's football. You can't just go, well, we beat Man United, and Man United beat Man City last season, so that means we're better than Man City. That's not how it works. It's football. So there you go. David says, "Tom, what is Gareth Southgate's issue with Ben White? Please tell me what's going on." I don't know, David. I just think that obviously there was that issue at the World Cup, but we don't really know what that issue was. Maybe that's still the issue now, but I don't know. I honestly don't know what the issue is. Marcus says, "If you could interview any Arsenal player, past or present, in the mix zone, who would it be and why?" Any player, past or present? I suppose Santi Cazorla. Santi Cazorla is my favourite player, and I never got the chance to speak to him. Who knows? Maybe that will change in the future. But certainly, I'd love to have spoken to Santi Cazorla. He's just such a positive, happy guy that he would have been great. Who else would have been a good talker? I suppose Mesut Ozil would have been an interesting one to kind of speak to in the mix zone as well, if the opportunity ever arose. So yeah, maybe Ozil would have been a very, very interesting one indeed to get some thoughts from in the mix zone. Otherwise, the obvious ones, Dennis Bergkamp, Thierry Henry, and players of the like would have been very good. I'm trying to think who would have given some really good answers. Emmanuel Frimpong, I'm sure, would have given a good answer or two. But yeah, it's difficult. It's very difficult. Rosicky, yeah, Mark, another player I really did enjoy watching and one of my favourites from that era of Arsenal as well. Andy says, "Good morning, Tom. Do you know if Gary O'Driscoll, has been replaced, or is he still at the club as head of medical?" He's moved on, I believe now. I think he's gone to Manchester United. They have brought in some people, or they've definitely promoted people from within. But you probably saw during those behind the scenes videos of Jurriën Timber and Declan Rice doing their medicals and things like that, that you saw the medical staff were there. There's been medical staff in the games when players need to get treatment on the field. There are people in his place, that is for sure. Ray Parlour is indeed hilarious. And I look forward to speaking to Ray Parlour very soon, actually. Phil Ed says, "Tom, who's your top 3 Hale End graduates?" Top 3 Hale End graduates have got to be Bukayo Saka, of course, being one of those. Hale End, I mean, how long has Hale End existed? How long has it been around? Because obviously we moved. So let's try and find Arsenal's under-21s academy. Hale End. I'm sure that I feel like they moved buildings. Do they still call it Hale End after they moved buildings? I'm just trying to check that. I'm pretty sure it's been around for a very, 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 very long time. But I don't know if they kept the name the same or not. There are considerations, I think. I think there's been suggestions that they might move and they might kind of bring everybody under the same roof. I'm not sure if they're going to do that or not, but I've heard whispers that that might be the case. But yeah, I'm not sure if it's been around. If it says that they moved buildings in 2002, but yeah, it does say early years, under 21s. Let's see if we can find any information on when it was. Yeah, so 1999, Arsene Wenger, Hale End facility being built. New Arsenal Academy unveiled. Okay. So our Arsenal Academy facility was formally unveiled on Friday following a major redevelopment project. The completion of the multi-million-pound two-year project was celebrated via the inaugural Liam Brady Cup, which saw us welcome under 16 teams from Manchester United, Juventus and Bayern Munich. So the main building at Hale End was built, I suppose, the new one in 2017. So I guess it has to be from 2017. Is that the rules, or is it just from Arsenal's academy in general? Obviously, if it's from 2017, then Bukayo Saka just counts. I think he would have made his debut 6. He was 17. Oh, I guess he would have been 2018, 2019. We saw Saka get his debut. So yeah, I guess we have to choose Bukayo Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe. Eddie Nketiah would have been before that. He made his debut under Arsene Wenger. Reiss Nelson also made his debut under Arsene Wenger. It then becomes a little bit tricky, I guess. So I guess we're then looking at kind of, are there anyone else? Smith-Rowe and Saka would have been post the move to the new building. I'm trying to think if there is anyone else that has got the opportunity yet. I suppose Balogun, you have to say? I guess Balogun. Yeah, Balogun, Saka and Smith-Rowe, I guess, are the three that you go with. Certainly made us the most money of any ALN graduate. We got 35 million, and I guess it depends on add-ons, doesn't it? So yeah, Balogun, Saka, Smith-Rowe are going to be the three. Reiss Nelson got his debut before the new building was built, so yeah, I don't think it counts. Simon Hooper is going to be our official for our game against Everton. What are your thoughts? It doesn't matter; they're all bad. It doesn't matter. I'm sorry to burst your bubble there, but it doesn't matter which referee we have. They aren't good enough. So yeah, it's a shame. You're naming players, Willock and Wilshere, that got their graduations before 2017, so they can't count if the new building is what we go by. Anyway, it's a shorter show this morning, so I'm off to do a lot of stuff on my day off, but I've got a lot of jobs to do. So thank you guys for tuning in. It's an absolute pleasure, as always, is to speak with you. Do drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here with those notifications turned on. The mic's gone. Don't care. See you later. As always, up the Arsenal.